Hello everyone, welcome to Just Invest Today, and today we're talking about ASOS, man, because ASOS stock has been taking a huge hit. Look what has happened, man. This is a company based out in the London, and this took already a 56% dip. So I'm wondering if this is a buying opportunity for ASOS, man. And remember how ASOS came on our radar. I read Richer, Wiser, Happier by William Green, and Nick Sleep, an amazing chapter in the book, talked about ASOS as one of the four stocks that he owns and that he sold off Amazon and he put money in ASOS stock. He did that because he found out that ASOS has a similar like model to like Costco and Amazon on scale economy shared. And this is basically saying that it generates all this revenue, all this profit, and it gives it back to the customer. And it sees that as a long term advantage going into the future. And that's what he sees for a company like ASOS. So we have to understand, why has ASOS took this huge dip? What is going on? And we're going to look into this because this could be a potential undervalued growth stock to purchase, man. Because remember, in this market, there hasn't been a lot of opportunities. They've been coming here and there, just coming by. The market's at an all-time high. So this might be a huge opportunity for us. So let's get into this. Let's see if this is a stock that we could potentially buy. I want you to participate in this. Tell me what you think about the stock, because I'm going to show you the good side of it, the bad side of it, what I'm thinking. Because remember, we're always looking for potential investments. So let's first get into just looking at the site. Remember, this is basically a fashion retailer online, right? So they sell a bunch of fashion forward stuff, clothing, and remember, they try to get it at a good price to sell it to the consumer. So we just look at this site. It looks pretty good. The clothing brand has its own kind of style to it. But the thing I'm worried about with ASOS, this is the one thing I keep thinking about when I think about fashion stocks, is that fashion is all about trends. It's very fickle, right? Like, who knows 5, 10 years from now, are people gonna still wanna buy fashion forward stuff like ASOS products? They might go back to something else, they might do a different thing, and then they have all this backlog of inventory. Like, fashion is always like weird to me. Like, it's just very, very trendy. So like, who knows what's going to be forward? And now they want to grow their own brand. So that's a huge thing for me. Like, how do we know their brand's going to be successful? Because if they want to increase their margins, they want to increase their profit, they're going to have to sell their own brand instead of using other brands. And that's what they're kind of looking at. They want to make their brand better. So that's what they're seeing. And fashion is just one of those industries that you just never know 5 years from now. You can't decide with 100% certainty this company is going to grow. But when you're looking at it, their revenue has been very consistent. So they're doing something right. They're doing really good things. So that's how I can see it as a potential good investment. Because look at the revenue from 2016. So this is not just some like one-off thing. They've been really consistent. 26%, 33%, 25%. 13%, 19%, 19% again, right? And they have huge profit margins. Look at that, 50%, 49%. That's crazy profit margins when you really think about it. 40% and over for profit margins? That's an amazing company if you can generate that with just a fashion company. But on the opposite side, the operating margins are like really bad, because remember, they share all that profit to the customers, try to get lower prices for their products, probably get faster deliveries, get better customer service. And that's the long-term advantage that they want. And that's something Nick Sleep saw in the company, that he's like, oh shoot, this is the type of company I want to invest in for the long term. So Nick Sleep definitely bought this at a higher price, or maybe a higher price, who knows? But still, it's took a huge dip. And the reason why the dip is because they are warning of a profit margin fall. And their chief executive, Nick, he left the company, man. So this is huge, because remember, management has been doing so good so far. So him leaving, it leaves another question mark about the company. Like, is this company still going to be just as productive as it was before? And in this article, they're talking about supply chain issues, talking about the BritX exit. So there's definitely stuff coming up, but the supply chain issues might be just a short-term problem that you can maybe just like kind of be like, oh, whatever, and just be into the stock. But they're reducing profit margins and they're thinking about more growth, international. And we just don't know. Like, is this company going to be better internationally? Because this is a European company right now, and they want to get more into the U.S. and different demographic, different markets. So we don't know if they can do it successfully yet. So it's still like up in the air, man, because there's so much competition in this field. They have Boohoo, they have another company. There's so many. It's like an online fashion retailer. Like, it's a low barrier entry company. Like, anyone can just come in, right? And then when you start a brand, right? It's just like, how effective is the brand going to be? Because when you think about brands in the US and Canada and Europe, there's so many options, and like reducing your prices can make your brand kind of like people look at it, it's not that good. And then you're gonna be dealing with companies like Shein that sells like what company like prices on the very cheap, and it's an online fashion retailer in China, and China products are so much cheaper than anything in the freaking UK can do, or Canada. So that's the combination there. So there's just so many questions about the brand, the low barriers to entry for like other competitors. How Where's the trend gonna go for fashion? Because that's what is really up in the air. Because fashion is such a interesting like field that like it's so trendy. Like, one time the fashion can go here, and then you have all this inventory, and then you gotta predict the next fashion wave. It can go there. So that's just so many questions you gotta ask yourself. And then, are they gonna be able to expand their own brand, their own ASOS brand? And that's a question that we don't know for sure. There's no guarantee they're going to do that, right? So the price looks amazing with the stock. It's only like a 20 PE. It's growing like 20% easily. But there's so many questions about just ASUS in general. And they just got rid of their management. So their growth prospects, they're going to have to find another management. And then they're going to come in and they're going to be like, oh, like, we don't know what they're going to do, because the old management, Nick, has been doing such a good job that finding a new management now is going to be, it might be hard to judge where that's going to go. So they have huge projections, man. Like, they want their customer base to grow from 15 to 20%. It aims at an annual sale at 7 billion. So that's their goals in 4 years. In the next 3 to 4 years, they're trying to expand, like I said, more in Europe and more in the US. But the US has so much competition, and then inflation. The cost of stuff is going up. I don't think they're gonna go down anytime soon. So they're saying there have supply chain issues, but that cost is gonna go up. Like, for like labor cost is going up in the UK, US, Canada, whatever. The supply chain is gonna be still there until probably 2002, 2023. So those are still gonna be issues. If they're complaining about that now, that's still going to be issue, I think, going out 3 years. And then inflation is still on the rise like crazy. And you're making cheap products that you don't really have a competitive advantage in the pricing of it. You can't just raise prices, because then people might just find another company to buy. So you really don't have an advantage over there. So it's just so many questions you got to honestly ask yourself when you're coming with ASOS. And I don't know if I can answer those questions, man. Like, I just can't, like, definitely answer those questions. And that's what we need. Like Warren Buffett always says, if you can't predict for the next 5 to 10 years, just avoid the company. And I'm not sure I can predict it guaranteed. Like, I'm not guaranteed. Like, I can't be guaranteed that ASOS is going to grow the same way it's been growing before. I just can't say that with like confidence. If you can say that with confidence, tell me what you think. Maybe I'm not seeing it as much, but I still like the company. It's like really cheap. It's growing crazy. I still think they have like a kind of an advantage, just because like they've been doing good so far. So they have like a solid company, right? But still, there is many questions that you gotta ask yourself, and the competition is there, and there's just a lot of questions to ask yourself. So I want to hear: is there any rebuttal? What do you guys think about what I just said? Tell me your thoughts on ASOS. Is this a good investment? And maybe we can invest in this in the future. Maybe if the questions I've been asking myself and asking you guys to answer, maybe you guys can answer it down below. Comment, guys. Like this video. Comment. Subscribe to my channel, man. Help me grow to 1,000 subscribers, man. Thank you. I'm out. Peace.